Alright, I'm looking at unit here, possibly going to take it for a bounce, depending on what it does on this next candle here. My risk is going to be a close below the VWAP and the 9. So if it comes down here, the 9's probably going to be
JNJ.
okay. A big buyer at 10. It could probably get a little bit lower. I think I'm going to take it here. It looks like it's kind of getting some ground. Profit target's going to be high a day.
FB.
I have to see how it acts around 40 as well.
TSM.
So far, pretty nice push here. I'll take half there. I do want to let the rest go.
FB.
See what it continues doing here. On the 5s, it just made a big falling star there. But with 200 shares, this could
JNJ.
still make some pretty good profit. Alright, stop will be a close below the 9 now. I'd still expect it to bounce here. If it breaks, and it did. Alright, well that kind of turned around on me pretty quickly there, so ended up with a $4 loser. Okay, I'm looking at Adobe here. Kind of setting up for a symmetrical breakout again, because the 9's coming up and pushing on it.
JNJ.
Interested to see how it does on these next couple candles here, because it was making a triangle here and it broke out up, and then now we're kind of resetting again. So I'm wondering if the real move's going to come up here with this 20 pushing up on it.
UAL.
Profit target will be high of day.
FB.
It is at its all-time highs, so it doesn't have any resistance overhead. It could set up for a short too. It's gotta wait a little bit for the short. Alright, these need to go. We need to change to a whole dollar, because that's right about where it's at.
UAL. BZUN.
I think I'm still gonna give it the same amount of space for that one.
FB.
The sector is down right now, so the sector is not helping at all. Saw a big seller there for a second. If it's going to break underneath, I definitely want to short it too, because it looks better for a short if I'm looking at the sector with it. Could be breaking out because this 20 is finally catching up underneath it, and if it sticks below the VWAP, it's going to be a big help.
FB.
Alright, I'm in half my size. See if it breaks. Alright, I'm full size, 50 shares. Profit target will be low of day at 165. The stop loss will be a close above VWAP, so I'm looking at about 40. Oh, jeez. Alright, none of that trade. Guess if it's gonna reset, it'll reset. I don't know, whenever the 20 catches up, the first few minutes of it being in there, it doesn't really act that significant if it's a triangle. If it's already in a trend, then it usually makes a difference, but I'll take it long here. Alright, I'm long 75 shares. Stop loss will be close below the 9 and the 20. So risk of about 50. Jeez, nothing wants to break. I don't like it. If it's not gonna go, then it's just not gonna go. So I'm just gonna keep making my losses as small as possible. Cause if it's gonna break, it's gonna break. And it usually does it quick. It doesn't take this long. So we'll have to see what it does here. Alright, I'm looking at PM here. Looks like a pretty good short because right now it's got all this stuff at VWAP, plus there's a pretty significant daily level. So if it ends up moving a little bit shorter here, I'll be looking to short it. First profit target's going to be how it acts around the whole number, then obviously low a day. Stock wasn't on my watch list, and I'm just now kind of catching up with it. I got in 24, risk about 50. I like it on the 5s too. So I guess in the 5 case, let's have to see what it does around the VWAP. We got 4 minutes till it closes. And of course, as soon as I enter, squeeze it straight up.
UAL.
If it's gonna break to the upside of this pattern, I don't want to be in it anymore. That'll be way too much. Jeez, that's ugly. Got 2 minutes till bar closes.
UAL.
It is really not liking this area. Well, it's gonna stay below the view app still, so it's not dead to me
UAL.
yet. But I'm certainly not thrilled. No, it closed right on it, didn't it? Alright, I'm not gonna give it much more. If it's gonna close above the 20, then I'll be out.
UAL.
Same situation, it could go either way. Up or down. Gotta stick to the plan. If it closes above the 20, I don't want to be in it.
SLD. NWL.
We got another minute for the 5 to close. So if it isn't gonna make a move on this candle here, I don't want to be in it.
SLD.
This thing's killing me.
NWL.
Alright.
SLD.
It's amazing. Every time it just gets a little bit somewhere, it just can't make up its mind. Alright, I'm exiting the trade for now. If it wants to go up, I mean it could go up too. But I just can't believe
NWL.
this action right now.
TWS.
Could risk, could be long. What, 53 about? Could take 200 shares on it. Stop loss about 35. That's still too big. I don't know. I think I should just avoid this one because it's got these wicks up here that's kind of shoving it back down, and then it's got these wicks down here kind of moving it back up. I can't tell which way this one is going to want to go because we got this coming in here, and then we got the 9 on the 5s coming in, so I'm just going to pass on this one. Okay, looking at Adobe again here, I've been had these trend lines for a while now. It looks like it's finally getting ready to break out up. It looks pretty good because it's got this kind of consolidation, and we're finally starting to make a move here. So I'll have 100 shares at 167.50, and my risk will be a close below the 9 or the 20, so about 10 cents. But it's got to get that 50 first. I think I'm actually going to change that to 51. Let's see all these 5s up here. Again, got some crazy wick action. Makes me wonder. Really like the setup, like the pattern a lot, but I don't like those wicks. So I mean, profit target is going to have to be high a day here. So it's about a 1-to-1 trade. Crazy dojis up there. I don't really like the idea of shorting it, because we're above the VWAP. I don't want to write it back to VWAP. If it keeps resetting and failing to break that 50 though, what I could do is enter in with half size, and depending on what it does from there. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, I don't want to get in on it if it's already broken out like that. I don't like the idea of having a breakout and then coming back and then still trying to take the trade. If it skipped me, it skipped me. Okay, looking at QURE right now, kind of a crazy situation. There's a hidden buyer here for sure, so I have an order in at 200 just to hopefully get me in. I don't know if it's gonna. And of course, skipped over again. I guess my stop loss was just too tight. Oh man, that is really bothersome. It went to right about where it should. I mean, my profit target on it would have been, looks like 40 cents. That's where the 9's at for the EMA. Trying to that wouldn't even worked anyway. It's a circuit breaker, so I gotta use market order. No, it's already too far to jump into it. Nope, just another mistake. Okay, I am short PM right now. Made a really nice triangle. Looks like it's just now starting to break out here, or break down. Target was, what did I write? I wrote 108.20, so I'm looking to take profits down about here. So far, a very nice move. It's done a little bit too much for me, just gonna take half. Going back to the fives, we got about that 20 until we start seeing that takeoff where it took off last time from the other triangle that I missed. But made a new one here, and it looks like it could be a pretty good trade. Oh yeah. Also, the 20 and the 9 are starting to come into play here on the 5, so definitely helping it move down. It's a nice move though, so I want to let this one go. I want to let it retest if it wants to retest. It does look like it's starting to slow down here. I guess it could be making a new triangle, but obviously want to play it off the original. Hopefully we see a nice bounce here. Would I add into this trade? I mean, so far it looks pretty good. I could say probably 30, 31. Although it only has, 20 cents to go until it hits my profit target, so if I wanted to make anything of that, I'd have to use pretty big size. At the same time, my risk would be a close above the 9, so that's about another 15 cents. So I could add 300 shares to risk another 50 bucks. Or that could happen. If I add, I'm basically adding for a 1-to-1 risk reward on it. So far it's doing pretty well. Volume's a little dry though. You got a buy there at 35. I'm gonna go for it. Profits will be pretty quick though, cause I'm looking right at the 20. Alright, filled again. Want to see it in the 20s. Nope, looks like I made it too tight. Instead of putting it at 31, which was the low of this, or would have been the new low. The 5 still look good. And this will be the close of the 5 minutes too. Yeah, it looks like it's pushing it down. Well, it doesn't like the 9. Hasn't failed me yet. Just want to see it crack. It's a pretty big move. Probably see a pullback. right back in it. Jeez. Okay. I gotta get out. Spread's pretty big right now, and it's usually not that big, so I'm figuring it's gonna come back a little bit here. But I'll be getting out here in a second. Just one uptick, and I'm out. Just one uptick, and I'm out. There it is. Alright, well, I'm definitely gonna be done for the day. I gotta go over my videos, and then I will come back with a little recap. Okay, so quite the interesting day today. Obviously all red, not a single green, because my money management skills are kind of trash right now, and I need to do a much better job at recognizing when enough is enough and I need to exit the trade, or I need to let it ride. So there's definitely a few situations in here that I want to go over. So just going over from the beginning, starting with units. So looking at units, was on my watch list. Had a very nice run up, huge candles here. You can see pretty much every candle almost doubled in size, and then started coming back slowly, and it looked really good for a nice VWAP bounce because the 9 was catching up to it, and it was getting ready to bounce here. So I got in 400 shares at 19 with a stop loss underneath this. I think I was risking like 10 cents or something. I wanted high of day, but I feel like 40 is a much more realistic profit target. So that was probably, I mean, that didn't really make too much of a difference in the end because I would have taken profits anywhere in here regardless. So ended up bouncing up to 29, and I took half off. And the problem with this one was, whenever I'm trading this early in the day and there's only, 10 candles to play off of, if I'm only playing 10 candles and I want to, give it 3 candles, that's like 30% of the move that it made in the entire day. So to think that I could have just waited to see if it bounced off of this, yeah, I could have. Or I took my profits at a decent area, and as it came back, this big red candle here, engulfing this move, and then, kind of bouncing and stuttering, and then we get a doji right here. Maybe I could have taken another half off, reduce my risk at least at the minimum, because obviously I am deep in the red this week, so reducing my risk has gotta be priority number one, really, among other things. But I mean, I did a pretty good job today with reducing risk. There's just that trade at the very end, which I'll go over when I get to it. But I finished unit down $4, almost basically a break-even trade. Second, third, and fourth trade that I took was Adobe. Trying to remember where it was here. It wasn't any of these. I believe I was looking at something like this right towards the beginning of the day. And actually, it wasn't even this one. It was something even shorter, because I wanted to short it. And I wanted to short it underneath the VWAP because I know... Actually, why did I short this one? Okay, so I had this thing set up for a short if it... Why? Or no, this is a... the first one was a buy, but I remember I canceled that a few times. So now I'm still looking to buy. And then we break underneath the VWAP, and then my bias changes because the 20 catches up with it. And I'm waiting for it to break VWAP, so it does, and it gets underneath there, and then we got the whole number problem. Break underneath that, and I get filled for full size of 50 shares. Yeah, it's right about here. Get full size, and then it turns right back against me, and it closes above the VWAP and the 9. And I believe I did exactly what I should have done. I covered, so I got out right at 43, so that was a good deal. And then obviously the trade isn't over yet, because all these triangles do is just they reset and they reset and they reset until, you know, some crazy move finally happens. So here's where I messed up. So now it wasn't looking good for a short, so now it moves right back above the VWAP and the moving averages again, and I long it, so that's good. It's not a bad trade. It's a long, it's a symmetrical triangle. We're above the moving averages, it's at all-time highs. It's got nothing bad with it. And then it struggles. The next candle, it didn't really break out, didn't pull back, didn't retest, didn't do anything. But for some reason, in my mind, I said, alright, well, it's not going to make a huge crazy move, so I'm just going to get out. And I took, I believe, a tiny little loss on it again. So the first trade was a $20 loser. And then you can see it's, I mean, this thing just, it doesn't even pull back. I'm just sitting here at break even, and then it goes against me a little bit. And I was like, okay, well, forget it if it's not going to do anything. Well, it didn't really do anything. I didn't give it a chance to do anything. I mean, it didn't even come back and retest. I mean, it was not a situation where I just need to stick to my plan. You know, my plan's always, you know, close above the 9 or the 20. And I didn't even give it a second. And you see the next candle, you know, it pops up right to near close to the high of day. I mean, my profit target was 70 cents on it. Yeah, profit target was up here at 70, and got up to 50. I mean, it's another good profit taking point, and then you get this nasty one here, and hopefully by then, I mean, I probably wouldn't have, but I would have said, alright, well, you know, we hit that point, now it's starting to pull back a little bit. I should be looking to exit again here if it's not going to keep blasting off. So I don't know, that might have been another tiny winner or a tiny loser. Either way, it shouldn't have been what it was. It shouldn't have been just that small $8 loser. I should have at least held on to it, because I mean, I don't know, I basically just threw away the trade, really. I just scratched it, and it didn't do anything, didn't give it time to do anything. So that was that one. Next trade that I took was PM. I remember I was looking at it for a few things. So obviously first we got, that came later in the day, but I think this was the one that I was looking at the time. Let's go back to my video. Can't remember, so we're just gonna look at this. So yeah, it was right about there. About here? No, right where I got it. So yeah, I was looking at it for a short. Shorted it at 24. Struggled to move higher. I noticed that the other day, whenever I was trading, if there's ever these big wicks in here, you know, that's going to act as pretty significant support or resistance. So I was looking at it, and I was thinking, alright, well, if I take it long, and it gets up there, it's probably not going to go very far. So I mean, 109 would be the max. I wrote down 107.70. Because I didn't end up longing, I ended up shorting it. So if I did take it long, that would have been that. But on the short side, it still looks pretty decent. I guess back early in the day, we got all these big wicks here, and then it came down and retested. So my profit target, I think I wrote down Or no, I didn't. I made my profit target all the way at the low a day. That's too far. I need to be recognizing this kind of stuff. I said it yesterday, and I need to make sure I'm paying attention to that kind of thing. So my profit target should have been, you know, exactly where this pullback was really. Simply because, wow. Simply because that's where all those wicks were. So I ended up shorting, covered it slightly after for a small loser. Broke down, made another shooting star, and then we had the huge pull up there. So it didn't really break down into anything. I mean, this might have been a trade that I should have avoided altogether, because I'm trying to take this trade as it's breaking underneath the VWAP. I'm not trying to take this trade as it's been consolidating around the VWAP. I'm looking at this as like a break, and I mean, even if it breaks, yeah, fine, but it has to hold, and you know, then after it holds, then it's got to make a move. And I'm trying to take this one thinking that it's going to break and hold and make the move all at the same time. And with these triangles, you know, the best moves are the ones, well, I'll show you it right here, because this is what happened later in the day and I wasn't watching it. This is where the real move came, because the 50 finally caught up. It's been consolidating around the VWAP and the moving averages, and then it exploded and it finally made the move up. So that was the real trade. That's the trade that I should have taken. The trade that I took was like a teeny tiny little scalp right into some more support, thinking that I'm gonna get a some kind of crazy move again, thinking it's gonna go back to the low day when we've had all of this support right here. Not to mention it came down and then it really rebounded pretty hard. I mean, it only took two candles and it recovered this whole move that it made down. So you know, there's kind of like a bullish sentiment to it, really. You never see these things whenever you're trading. You know, it's always whenever you go back and look at it and then you recognize it. So anyway, PM ended up being a small loser. I mean, I stuck to my rules this time. Closed it above the no, I didn't. I exited out pretty early here. I closed out at 35. So oh yes, I didn't close out here. I let it go all the way up here again, and I held on to it still. You know, it came back and then it kind of just stuttered in this area. So I mean, I had plenty of opportunities to get out of this trade, and I did eventually at 10, it looks like. So I mean, I let this thing go as far as possible, and then of course it makes that move after I get out of the trade, because now this move looks a little bit better, because, you know, again, it's had time to consolidate around the VWAP. You know, we broke underneath it here, but at the time whenever I took this trade, it didn't really have any information behind it. And then here, you know, you got 10 minutes of information, and you can see from the 5s too, it's kind of just hovering around it, really. It's not really doing too much. So if I wanted to take it short, that would have been the better spot to take it short at. Ended up bouncing to the whole number, and kind of what you expect around whole numbers as well. So then I missed a couple of trades. Missed QURE. I tried to get filled at a break below the whole number here, because it made a nice bear flag, or a bull flag. The 20 caught up with it, and then it kind of rounded over the top, and then it really broke down, and I mean, I got skipped over. The thing jumped down like 20 cents in 1 second, so I mean, it skipped right over me, but it went right to my profit target too. I wrote down profit targets 1450. I mean, bounced right off of it, so well, that would have been one winner that I could have had. And then I was also looking at Adobe. I can't remember where it was. I think it might have been on the breakout. I'll have to go back and look at the video again here. Yes, this was it. It was kind of like, it's kind of like a ascending triangle, symmetrical triangle situation going on. I'm definitely looking at it for a long, but again, it skips right over me here, and moving averages catch underneath it, and then the real move happens, and it didn't really move too much though. You can see it only went up to the whole number and then turned right back around, really. Yeah, I wrote my profit target was 170 or 167.80, so pretty much high day. I mean, that was a really small trade though. That was like a 1-to-1 kind of trade there. And then the big mistake that ruined the entire day came on PM again. It's kind of been the theme this whole week, is I'm really looking at 3 stocks and I'm finding a lot of trades within these stocks. Just a couple of stocks. So as soon as I get it set up here, made a pretty nice move, or pattern. I think that was it. And then we had that one there. So the 50 caught up with it. And this was another trade where it wasn't really around the VWAP just yet. I'm trying to take it on a break underneath the VWAP. I wrote for my profit target to be 108.20. So I had it 108.20 because, again, now I look back at this and say, okay, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So 108.20 is definitely going to be a good spot for it to go. So it ended up breaking underneath. It was a good break too. Had decent volume, but a really nice move. Then it found resistance. There was like this 32 area, and I was thinking about, okay, we had a really nice move. It looks like it still wants to move a little bit lower. Had a little bit of a pullback, got rejected on that pullback, and then we're making a shooting star. And then we got this red candle here, and I'm thinking, okay, do I really want to add into this trade? I know that last time that I was thinking I wanted to add into a trade, it worked out, and it worked out really well. So I wouldn't have had a problem adding into this trade, and I still don't. The only problem is that the low of this candle is 32 cents. What I originally did is I had this at 31 cents. But for whatever reason, I decided to make it 32 and give myself that extra little penny. And of course, it clipped me in right at 32, and it never saw 31. And then it immediately turned right back around, causing me to get out what I should have done. And again, I broke my rules. Didn't get out on the 9. I wanted to see what it would do at the VWAP or the 20, and wouldn't you know it, lost another extra 10 cents before, or after it, and ended up with an $80 loser. So I mean, it could have been maybe a green day, depending on those stocks that I got missed out of. And it doesn't matter what could have been. It just matters that I sit here and recognize what it is that's going on. And every time I do these reviews, always happens. I don't know, I'm not, it's a big red day, but I'm not terribly disappointed in myself, I guess, because the only thing that I'm upset about is the way that I added into that trade. But the other trades, I mean, it's just part of the game. You're gonna get skipped over. You're not gonna get filled in on every single trade. You're gonna try and stretch what it is that you're doing just by that one penny, and then it's gonna cost you, or maybe you'll hold on to this trade for a little bit longer. So I really need to make sure that I'm sticking to my rules, because it cost me money today, but I definitely reduced my risk today. Could have been, if I didn't do that add-in, it would have been a minus $50 day. And 6 losing trades and only being down $50, that's pretty good. That won't happen too often. So I mean, I definitely managed my risk a lot better today, but still there were improvements to be made. I mean, so we had the first trade. I should have first trade I could have exited a little bit earlier. I actually added some this compliance column here on my spreadsheet here, so I wrote them down over here. So the one was I didn't cut my partial fast enough, so I took my partial, But then the rest of the half, I let it sit around a little bit too long. The 2 was the exited too early. So on the second Adobe trade that I took, yeah, I exited too early. I didn't give it a chance at all to do anything really. And it ended up costing me. Stupid. And then the big mistakes were for my first PM trade. I didn't exit after bouncing off significant support for multiple times. I mean, that was a $9 loser, so that wasn't a terrible mistake, but it was a mistake that could have still been avoided. And then, or a $16 loser, and then I added too early onto the add-in here. I didn't cut my losses fast enough. I didn't stick to my original stop loss on both of these trades. So, what is that? Why is that there? So not a horrible day, but definitely not a good day. I mean, this whole week has been just a mess of figuring out what my mistakes are, so that hopefully I can not do them again. So what I'm gonna do after I get done with this video, I'm just gonna write down what my mistakes were again, you know, keep working on my spreadsheet, keep practicing. I probably shouldn't trade tomorrow, but I'm going to trade tomorrow just because I want to finish out the week, hopefully finish out the week strong. You know, I want to give myself that opportunity to correct my mistakes and, you know, grow from it, learn from it, try and do better. So yeah, I'll be done with the day. Just got work to do, and I'll be back in tomorrow. Thanks for watching.